Just give it 1 minute to let people come in from the waiting room. As a reminder, unless you're speaking, please mute yourself. This is a hearing before the Licensing Board for the City of Boston. Today is Monday, March 8th, 2021. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to certain temporary amendments to the open meeting law. That is what allows us to meet virtually. Today's hearing will be recorded and will be posted to the city's website. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Good morning. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Licensing Board, and joining me today is Commissioner Liam Curran and Commissioner Kiana Saxon, also from the Licensing Board.
Thank you. I will read each item into the record in the order it appears on the agenda. I will first ask who is present on behalf of the licensee. Please identify yourself and ensure that your video and audio are working. I will then ask who is present on behalf of the Boston Police Department, and then whether there are any other individuals with personal knowledge who wish to testify. I will then swear in all parties. The police will proceed with the police report, after which the licensee will have the opportunity to make a statement and the chairwoman and commissioners will ask questions.
Good afternoon. My name is Meki Durakovic. I'm the owner of a Fin Point in the downtown 89 Broad Street. Also tradesman, also in a Hilton downtown.
All right, just give me 1 moment and let me read this into the record and then we'll get started. Calling Diamond Rock Boston Broad Street Tenant LLC. The date of the incident is February 25th, 2021. The notice was served on March 4th, 2021. Failure to adhere to the governor's executive order and the board's advisory regarding COVID-19 related operational restrictions. The board is in receipt of a social media post evidencing the same. And if you could, again, please state your name for the record on behalf of the licensee.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Simonelli. I'm the general manager of Fin Point Oyster Bar and Grill at 89 Broad Street in Hilton, Boston.
Thank you. And Detective Hernandez, you will be reading the police report?
Yes, I will be.
And are there
Morning. I'm reading a police report with Sergeant Gallagher Road on 3/4/2021 at about 9:42 p.m. Sergeant Detective William Gallagher, Detective Eddie Hernandez assigned to the licensed premise unit conducted licensed premise inspection notice.
Detective, I need to hear everybody in first. You're
I'm
jumping
sorry,
in.
I apologize.
Could all individuals please raise your right hand?
Sorry.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, Detective, you may now proceed with the
Start over. Sorry about that. On 3/4/2021 at about 9:42 p.m. Sergeant Detective William Gallagher and Detective Eddie Hernandez assigned to the licensed premise unit conducted a licensed premise inspection notice at Fin Point, 89 Broad Street. This inspection came about because of an incident that occurred on 2/25/2021 inside Fin Point. Detectives were made aware of an event posted on Instagram where a professional group entered the premise for an event. Detectives observed the posting to show patrons standing about the dining room maskless and drinking alcohol. Detectives further observed the group to be sitting at a close proximity of less than 6 feet. Detectives sought out and spoke to the manager, Peter Simonelli, reinforcing the governor and Boston's licensing board's guidelines on COVID-19. Mr. Simonelli was given a copy of the guidelines and stated that he would adhere to them. As a result of what detectives had observed, Sergeant Detective Gallagher issued a license premise inspection notice 004745 to Fin Point for failure to adhere to the governor's guidelines for COVID-19. Patrons standing, not wearing masks while drinking alcohol, tables of patrons less than 6 feet apart. Mr. Peter Simonelli signed for and accepted the notice. In addition, detectives gave Mr. Simonelli a notice to appear before the licensing board for an emergency hearing on 3/8/2021 at 11 a.m. That is all.
Thank you. Would the licensee like to make a statement regarding the allegation?
Yes, of course. Thank you for the board and the police for your time here today. About a week ago, we had a reservation come into the restaurant, and upon arriving, we discussed the board's regulations and the governor's regulations for COVID-19. They selected an area in the back right of our restaurant that had 2 tables, as they thought it would be a great area to separate the group for groups of 5 and 5. Upon that time, we informed them that they could not drink without any food. They gladly ordered a bunch of food and sat down before we began to teach them how to make a couple of drinks. As seen in the video, I am at the table a couple of times, and while they are seated drinking and eating. And the 2 minutes or so of video where it shows that they are standing and drinking, unfortunately, got away from me when I went to check on the rest of the restaurant, and they stood up to stage what otherwise would be like a slick marketing event. I'm here 6 nights a week making sure that we enforce these protocols. We have logs of all the times we enforce them with other guests, and just very unfortunately, this got away from me behind my back. To that end, we're going to double our efforts on making sure that these protocols are followed, and we've removed one of the tables in that back area from our seating rotation to ensure that groups are even further distanced to mitigate any further issues of this kind. So I'm very sorry that that got away from me and was behind me, but we're going to move forward in a productive manner. I also have, and I'd be happy to email this to the board after the fact, a letter from the leader of the group stating these facts, that we did enforce the advisory from the board, and that they staged those photo ops behind our back, and that they are apologetic for painting the restaurant in a negative light.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Meki Durakovic, and I'm the owner of the FinPoint. As Peter Salmonelli explained, we are extremely cautious about everything COVID and everything. Actually, my wife and the kids and me had a COVID, so I take this very, very sincerely. I've been in the business for 20 years. I'm really sorry that this happened. As Peter was saying, they just got up and took the pictures, and we try to do absolutely everything that we can. And FinPoint is a 6,000 square feet restaurant. We always have a plenty space, and we try to do absolutely everything that we can. Sorry if this happened. I guess they just thought it would be cool to take the picture, and we didn't catch it.
Thank you. Chairwoman, do you have any questions for the licensee?
I just have a few comments. I do appreciate the fact that you do go over the guidelines with people when they come in. I understand from you and from others, operators are doing everything they can to comply with these new guidelines and the changing guidelines. They're confusing. It is hard, and I think this is a good example to get patrons to go along with it and to appreciate how important the guidelines are and what sort of risks they're taking when they stage photographs like this and other such behavior. I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page now that the capacity caps have been lifted, that you as an operator and as a manager understand the lens that we're looking at this through, the social distancing, the 6 feet apart, unless there's barriers between that are at least 6 feet high. And I want to ask you, do you have any questions about the new guidelines?
Hey, sorry, Chairwoman. This is Peter Simonelli again, the General Manager. We are in receipt of the updated guidelines from Sergeant Detective Gallagher and Detective Hernandez. We have reviewed them. I don't have any questions personally. They seem very clear. And again, just to reiterate, we're going to double down our efforts and really make sure these groups are even more abundantly spaced, and be more as diligent as we possibly can with making sure that these guidelines are followed strictly.
Okay, and one question I do have is how many people, this party was for 10, but how many people were in the restaurant that night?
I don't have that number in front of me. It was a rather uneventful evening. The sales were very low other than that event, but again, maybe 20, 25 more people.
Okay.
25.
My point was just that if it is a night where you're very busy, you might want to consider, if you're having two large tables like this, to add extra staff. I don't have any questions. Commissioner Curran or Commissioner Saxon, do you have any other questions?
No questions, thanks.
Not for me either, thank you.
Thank you. Chairwoman, would you like to make a motion?
Yes. I make a motion. I do find a violation, and my motion is for a written warning. There's no history at this location of COVID violations or any other violations.
I agree with that.
I agree as well.
Great. The board has issued a written warning. If you do have any questions, please reach out. Those are all the items before the board today. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.